Hey Internet, thanks for stopping by for another video here today. If it's your first time here, my name's Dymon. I'm a gaffer available for hire out here in the Phoenix area. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite light modifiers, the hard light modifier, the projector mount. And we're going to be looking at the SA-17 from Godox. Alright, so first things first, what is a projector mount? There's a couple things that make a projector mount. And first thing is it's got an ellipsoidal lens array, and most modifiers that you're going to use aren't going to have any kind of lenses in it, but this actually has a couple lenses specifically for focusing and defocusing, and the word they use is columnating the light. It can make it so focused that the light has incredibly sharp, incredibly hard shadows, and that's what it's for. When you use one of these, you're leveraging that hard and focusable light with a couple different tools and add-ons. It's called a cutter or cutter blade, and you usually get 4 of these, and they come in from the side to form a square. You can do a triangle. Similar to that is this iris, where the blades serve to make a smaller box or line. Your iris serves to make a bigger or smaller spot. Always store these open. They're super fragile. And lastly, everybody's favorite, gobos, short for go between. It goes between the projector and the, it goes in there. Now our model, the SA-17, was specifically designed to fit with the S30, a focusable light, kind of like this one. We have a 55 watt focusable light from KMTV, very similar form factor, kind of like a miniaturized Fresnel. So it's got already very focused and collimated light to begin with before it even goes into this, which is why its form factor is so different from the Leko that we showed earlier. And that's because it's modeled after the Dedolight, basically the film and television gold standard for this type of modifier. I didn't know that, and I watched the Gaffer and Gear episode on it, which, by the way, hit me up in the comments. Where are my Andrew Locke fans at? But yeah, he actually used this with the Dedolight in that episode, so I was super stoked about that. And then to use it with like a regular video light, you do have to pick up this Bowens mount adapter. It's kind of bulky and messes with the center of gravity, but if you got a sturdy enough yoke and light, you're good. All right, now let's take a look at the price and what you get for your dollar. So for only $160, I was able to pick up the projector itself, the modifier, and the Bowen S mount adapter. You can pay up to twice as much and get all these add-ons and stuff, but I didn't really need the gels. I had RGB fixtures already, so I just picked up the extra tools separately. Now, these are the blade cutters, and they're exactly like the Dedo ones. And now, if you've never used these, they're kind of like barn doors. Instead of like flaps, you insert them into the projector itself. It's pretty cool. This will come in from the bottom, the left comes in from the right, and it serves to give you linear shadows. If you want a really tiny little precision box around like a logo on a product, this is how you get that. They also make an 18-leaf iris for it as well. It kind of serves a similar purpose as the blade cutters, right? But if you want a really small spot, a product on a wall or something, maybe defocus it so it's subtle, or maybe not. Maybe you want a circle and you want to stand in the spotlight. Then, of course, everybody's favorite, gobos. So you've actually got 14 in the base set, 7 window-style gobos, and 7 like dapple or design-style gobos. And instead of the normal gobo holder, which is usually just like a flap of metal that it sits like folds in half and the gobo sits between, it's got this really cool gobo holder. It's like way more secure. You drop the gobo into the holder and it screws shut. It even has these like little indentions for your thumbs or fingers to open and close it. So pretty cool. Now, the original head this was built for is only 30 watts, but it's focusable. It's more powerful by the time it hits the lens. My focusable light doesn't have the Dedo style mount like this, so instead of focusability, we're just going to go with straight horsepower. Now, that being said, you don't want to use anything over like 300 watts. Like this 200 bicolor from Amaran would be perfect. I'm not going to be using mine as a key. It's going to be mostly on the backdrop, so I'll be testing it out with this LC150B from Ulanzi. It's actually one of my favorite budget lights. It's metal, it's really hardy, it's powerful. It's like 220 watts. It's just as powerful as the Amaran, but it's just not as good. No, it's still decent. You can light with it. It's just it's a budget light, but it's definitely one of my favorites. I would find out later, though, that this release for the Bowens is a huge pain in the ass, especially with this particular modifier. Anyway, let's set it up. Okay, let's take a look at just a clean projector mount by itself. These are your two focusing stacks here. Once you get it into focus, you can see individual dust fragments on the lens. Take it just a bit out of focus to get rid of those, and it's still sharper than a barbershop's straight razor. This is the most out of focus it gets, and you can't really see with the spot, but you can definitely see with the gobos and other tools and stuff. Here's our CCT. Okay, this is like the biggest pain in the ass one to use, the cutter blades. You can see we got a square going here. Now watch as it comes into focus. There's the dust, super into focus. Look how sharp that is. A perfect square. So I guess this would come in handy if you wanted to bounce. I've seen Caleb Pike mention that before, but honestly, it eats up so much light. I don't think I would ever use it for bounce. But yeah, so you get that. Cool, you can make lines. You can make really, really thin lines too. Look at this. And as you can see, it does take some finesse, which I have not acquired. Anyway, yeah, on to the next one. All right, now we're gonna do our iris, or the diaphragm as it's labeled. Pretty cool, look how tiny that gets. And it's so sharp that you can see the individual blades. Now this is something I wanted to show in spot mode, but a little bit too far away, a little bit too big. So check out these flares that you can do. So depending on the angle you hit your backdrop with it, you can make a really cool flare effect. This is really good when you're displaying something, or whatever. You can do that in just a regular spot mode, or even with a regular snoot that's like non-mechanical, just the cone snoot. Okay, let's move on to the gobos. Okay, now here's probably the most common use of a gobo that you'll see, at least on YouTube, and on the backdrop as a window. Here it is at its sharpest. And you can see, obviously, right next to it, we have my mini blind, so it's obviously meant to look like Venetian blinds. Maybe it's golden hour, right? And what you would normally do though is bring it a little bit out of focus, usually inward out of focus. If you go outward, it's not as cool looking, you get some more artifacting, but if you come inward, you get some nice 3D effects and stuff like that. You would also get this at a little bit of an angle, just like the flares we were kind of showing, as if it's maybe coming from a side angle, or maybe from, I don't know, from some weird angle. But if to give it a more natural look, it would rarely be used at this angle from this distance. But just to kind of give you an idea of what a gobo does, let's check out the dapple design gobo now. All right, so this is like a dapple design. You can see why it's called that when it's out of focus. When I bring it into focus, it's a lot less natural, it's a lot less believable. We had a word for this when I was a kid. We would call this corny as hell. There is an effective way to use these. You bring it a little bit out of focus, and it's supposed to have the look of leaves over window light. And it does with the right distance. Get a little bit out of focus, but a little bit in focus. It's really effective, like we were doing with the flare, to come in at an angle, whether that's really sharp or kind of gradual, but definitely a lot farther away. Also, if you notice, we switched to tungsten white balance, so that my 6500 Kelvin lighting, instead of coming up white like it looks on my eyeball, it's blue. And so you could have that as a really effective backdrop. Set your key light to tungsten, 32 or even 27 if you want to get a deeper blue background, and the lighting will look weird in person, but it has an incredible effect and a really, really effective way to take advantage of color when all you have is, say, bicolor. Anyway, yeah. That I think wraps up all the add-ons I wanted to show you. Pretty sick, right? Highly recommend it. Let me get all this put away, and we'll do our final thoughts, outro, all that good stuff. All right, so that's the SA-17 projector mount from Godox, and I just kind of look at myself in the monitor. It feels so weird starting a video with hair and then going to a haircut halfway through. Now remember, the more common form factor you're going to see is that Source 4 Leko. Now they've taken that form factor and shrunken it down for aperture, for Nanlite. In fact, Ulanzi makes one that's this big, but Nanlite makes a professional level ellipsoidal that's, appropriately sized for their Forza 60C. Also, they work differently. Like the Leko style mount is the one that has the yoke, and then the head gets is held on by the Bowens mount itself, and this one actually goes on, and the light has the yokes, so they work a little bit differently too. I think this one is more appropriate for, you know, product B-roll, things that are going to be more precise, more close up, and this one will fit on a DLED. So really it just depends on, you know, your own motivations. Alright, thanks for sticking around everyone till the end of the video. I appreciate that a lot. We're doing a giveaway right now on YouTube and on Instagram. I've got a little starter content creator kit. It's really fun to work with. 2 tube lights. They're 360-degree illumination and extendable. Let me go grab that stuff. Okay, I misplaced the other one, but we've got 2 of these that I'm including. Blew my mind. There's pixel effects in this thing. 2 of your standard on-camera pocket LEDs. One's RGB and the other one's daylight. This is cool. It's like a selfie stick. And then if you untighten. If you loosen this, it extends to like this long. I like it because it's made specifically for a smartphone, which is usually what I'm shooting with. As soon as we cross 500 subscribers, I'm going to grab a recent share notification, so share the video, and 1 lucky subscriber, so subscribe, is going to win this content creator package. Super fun. It's what I started on. Anyway, if you got some value out of the content, don't forget to like, share, sub, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you dig making videos, if you like watching videos about making videos, then I dare say you found your clan. It's good to have you. It was good to see you, and we'll catch you next time right here at the Diamond Mine. Peace.